So Edge of Fate is finally here and it's complicated. There are some moments of fun and a few things Bungie did well, but for most part, this update feels like a missed opportunity to me. Let's start with Bungie positioned as a big new feature, the portal system. At first glance, I think it sounds great, access to past exotic missions, revamped and ready to play. But in reality, it's just a time-gated rotation of old content. You can't choose which mission to play when you want. Instead of building something new and exciting, you know what Bungie did? They gave us recycled missions, which we have been playing for so long. And they locked these missions behind weekly rotations. Meanwhile, classic raids and dungeons, which could easily be made relevant again, are completely ignored or offer no rewards or value in today's sandbox. They may add old raids and dungeons later, but right now, it's not looking good. Now let's talk about the campaign. Bungie advertised Edge of Fate as having 15 missions. To be honest, it sounds great, but in the reality, first 6 to 7 missions are just tutorial or how to use the new Meta Spark traversal system, which basically turn you into a glowing space ball. Yeah, a ball. So for a good chunk of this epic story arc, you are rolling around, learning how to jump, learning how to bounce instead of saving the universe. And while some might find this mechanic cool, a lot of players, including myself, at times found it frustrating. By the time you get into the real meat of the story, it already feels off pace, and unfortunately guys, to me the narrative doesn't really stick the landing. For an expansion that's supposed to help usher in the next era of Destiny, the emotional weight just isn't there for me. The payoff is underwhelming. Then there is the new raid, the Desert Perpetual. Credit where it's due, the raid is fun guys, the mechanics are interesting, the setting is beautiful, and the raid gives you real challenge. But I think once again the boss design is where Bungie drops the ball. Usually we have really cool looking bosses in Destiny raids. However, this time around we have Hydras as the bosses in one of the encounters in 2025. We have been fighting Hydras since Destiny 1. You will also see Hobgoblins as bosses in one of the encounters, and the same chickens too. Even the final boss is basically modified Harpy. While the Harpy looks unique when it comes to design, but come on guys, it still feels like recycled design. How many times can you reskin the same enemy before it stops being exciting? I'm sure Bungie can do better than this. Now let's talk about the systems. Bungie made some huge changes, and to be honest, not all of them were good. The stat overhaul broke a lot of builds for us. Armor and perk combinations that worked for years suddenly stopped functioning. And you know what made it worse? It was the several changes that were not properly listed in the patch notes. Bungie did later admit that they missed listing a bunch of stealth nerf due to internal issues. But come on, for a game that's focused on customization and build crafting, breaking core system and not communicating clearly to your community is a huge misstep, I think. Also guys, right now in Edge of Fate, the power cap is 400 that you can hit by doing various activities, which is not gonna be easy to do. However, a lot of players are able to reach that power level. When Ash and Iron arrives in September, which is more of an update than a DLC, players will be able to level up further and reach power level 450. But here is the catch. In December 2025, when the Renegades DLC releases, everyone's power will be reset back to 200. It's a full reset, not a soft tweak or a minor adjustment. No matter how much progress you have made or how high your power is, it all gets wiped when the new DLC hits in the December. I think this kind of reset makes the grind feel pointless for a lot of players. That includes me. You put in time, chase the cap, fine-tune your builds, and then suddenly it's gone. In the past, Bungie had said this, that they are going to step away from this kind of system. According to them back then, they wanted power to feel more meaningful. But here we are, now it's back, and it feels like we are returning to a cycle that will eventually leave a lot of players behind and some unhappy, and to be honest, it's not looking good. And now guys, let's talk about PvP and Gambit. People who have been to my stream, they know I play a lot of Crucible. My friend Bravos, he plays a lot of Gambit. I like it too. But it seems like Bungie has forgotten about those two modes. No new maps, no updates to core game modes. Gambit hasn't been touched in years. The PvP sandbox is suffering from imbalance, bugs, cheaters, and a lack of fresh content. It feels like these modes are being kept on life support with zero intention to evolve them, and it's just sad to see these game modes are being handled like this. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I feel about these game modes, and I would love to know what do you guys think about Gambit and Crucible in the comments. Now let's talk about the numbers. So at the launch, the DLC didn't even reach 100k peak players on Steam. That's lower than Lightfall and Beyond Light. Both those DLCs had pretty mixed reviews. I think it's a clear sign that many players are starting to lose interest because years of paid content has been removed. They use same enemy type, same missions, plus Bungie keeps putting out updates that really don't improve the game. I think it's starting to wear people out. Even within my own community, many players feel like Bungie isn't paying attention to what community wants anymore, and the trust fans had in them slowly going away. If I was in Bungie headquarters, I would be worried about it. That said, I think not everything is bad. There are a few new features that actually work really well, like the world tier systems. It gives players more control over how difficult game feels, which makes a big difference for both casual and hardcore players. The new firing range is also a great addition, letting you test out your weapons and builds in one place without needing to launch into real activities just to try out things. I think Bungie definitely deserves credit for adding these things into the game. I also think the new menu interface looks better and are easier to use. If you enjoy Destiny's lore, some parts of the story are actually well written and pretty interesting. There are still moments that show how good Destiny can be, but sadly, those moments get lost under too many bad design choices, reused content, and features that just aren't fun anymore. I think Edge of Failed feels more like a confused expansion. It tries to do something new with movement and story, but ends up losing too much old content. The same enemies we have been seeing for years, the game systems that don't work well. I think instead of feeling like a big step forward, it just feels like a repeat of old Destiny, and not in a good way. So guys, that's what I think about Edge of Fate DLC. Let me know what you think in the comments. I will love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to chat more about Destiny, I stream on both YouTube and Twitch. Come say hi when I'm live. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.